Hey, welcome to my channel. If you saw me live yesterday, it was like bottom of the eighth or bottom of the eighth, top of the ninth, or sorry, top of the ninth, bottom of the ninth. I live streamed at that point. Then if you saw, basically, it was to a point where starting of the bottom of the ninth, I'm seeing, and mind you, coming in from ESPN, they show basically Diaz getting ejected. I'm like, what's going on here? And like, it was like catching me off guard. It was one of those things where I wish ESPN was, like had caught it on much earlier, but it doesn't look really well, optically speaking. From the optic standpoint, it doesn't look really well for not only the Mets, but for Diaz as well. I mean, this would have happened in a localized broadcasting, localized broadcasting with both Chicago and New York. We're not the big market teams, but still, the problem is this happened on national TV, on ESPN itself, to the point where like basically Diaz is now gonna be stigmatized of like having sticky stuff on his hands. And the thing is, he was like, it's no different from what it was before. The problem was, is like ESPN actually had a close up of his hand, and I'm like, oh, great. And I'm wondering, is this the case of the reason why when Diaz came back, he was suddenly doing really well? Is that the reason why? Because if it is, then we have problems. Um, Diaz, as someone mentioned in the chat yesterday in my live, it's like, well, Diaz is out. He'll be suspended 10 games. I thought it was probably going to be one game at least. But 10 games, Diaz has got a guaranteed contract, so why does he care at this point? Only problem is I responded out basically. Yeah, it's true. He's got a guaranteed contract, but he's going to be known at this point as the guy that's a cheater. I mean, Barry Bonds, as good as he is, Guire, Sosa, good as they were, they're always going to be branded as juicers, steroid users, but mostly juicers. Similarly, could point out to, I mean, it still sticks out to my mind. I wish I could show the video here, clip, but I think YouTube's going to clip me as a result, or basically suspend it a little bit. But until I become an insider, that Phil Necro, to this day, it's still in my head. I don't want to say burned into my head, but I still have that image. Umps were checking him out. He was, checking his pockets, and then boom, like, the thing flew out, and they're like, hey, what's this? And Phil Necro, had a really good career as a pitcher, but he's going to be mostly known for a guy that was caught having sandpaper in his pockets and cheating during that game. The weird thing, though, is this. Diaz came on. He didn't even throw a pitch yet, and they injected him. If he had thrown a pitch, all right, fine, I understand that. But this is before even a pitch was thrown. They checked his hands. They could have said, hey, go wash it off. Wash off your hands. If he had washed it off, would there be an issue? I don't think so. And that's why I'm a little confused. It's like they checked his hands. I mean, it's not checking his hands, but like they basically pretty much injected him right before he even not threw out a pitch. He didn't even do a practice pitch on the mound, and they threw him out. That's why I'm a little confused. Now, granted, it's been a while, and the rules still state like once you're caught, you're out. You get ejected. So now it'll be interesting to see what happens now with the Yankee series for the next two games. If they needed a closer and Diaz isn't there, what then? I hate to say this, but like I think if the Mets can't recover and at least get one out of the two games, if they can't win one game against the Yankees, maybe it's time to trade. I don't know what it is. So I'm drinking my smoothie here. One thing, by the way, is like getting a smoothie mixer. It's really good. Not one of those. You could use a blender, but I got one of those like juicers, basically type of thing, and it's pretty good. It's very handy. But in any case, um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, honestly, should Diaz get a 10-day suspension? I think that's. It seems like that's a mandatory rule, but honestly, this is a case where he didn't even do a pitch and he's already thrown out. I mean, and he didn't even throw a pitch and he's already being basically suspended 10 games. Um, and the bullpen is already stressed out as it is, so they're maxed out. I mean, honestly, I don't know what they're gonna do. Let me know your thoughts in the comment section. Um, I just found out later that if I can stream live a little bit if I'm part of the YouTube Insider program, so hopefully I could get to the point of like getting 1,000 subscribers and I think 3 million views in shorts or 4,000 hours overall. Then I should be able to post clips at that point. But with that, I'll leave it at that. If you like my channel, like my video, like my content, please subscribe if you haven't subscribed. Um, and with that, oh, and also shout out to Yuki for messaging me yesterday while during the live. Basically, I was kind of curious what his thoughts were. Diaz getting ejected, and his response, of course, as I mentioned, you could see it on the live aspect with the chat. He was like basically, yeah, for Diaz, he's got a guaranteed contract, 10 day suspension doesn't matter. My perspective is it's the optics at that point with the fans. Because if the guy wants to become in the, if he wants to go into the Hall of Fame, because like most players want to get into the Hall of Fame because they want to be remembered. This cheating aspect of things, it's gonna it's gonna tarnish it a little bit. Put it this way, it's gonna tarnish his reputation a little bit. But with that, I'll leave it at that. Unfiltered, unedited, and of course, always unrehearsed. Until next time.